The world's first financial influencer or its biggest grifter? Robert Kiyosaki built a global empire peddling get-rich-quick dreams decades before YouTube stars and TikTok gurus even existed. He convinced millions that formal education was a dead end, and that debt is the ultimate path to wealth. But beneath the slick thumbnails, motivational speeches, and sold-out auditorium lights lies a trail of broken promises, bankruptcies, and followers left stranded in financial ruin. Today, we dive into the untold chapters of Kiyosaki's rise and fall and the real cost of chasing his debt-driven gospel. The legend is born. Before Robert Kiyosaki became synonymous with passive income and leveraged real estate, he was just another author struggling to get noticed. Born in 1947 on a U.S. Army base in Hilo, Hawaii, Kiyosaki tried and failed at several ventures, selling wallets made from shark skin, perhaps best remembered as poor man's leather, and running a small retail store that tanked. Disillusioned by repeated defeats, he found solace teaching English in Japan, where he crossed paths with network marketing. In the early 1990s, with a half-finished manuscript and no marketing budget, Kiyosaki's fortunes changed when he met an Amway regional director. This distributor, sensing Kiyosaki's gift for storytelling, suggested framing his financial observations for ambitious Amway salespeople hungry for motivational content. The result was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, a simple parable contrasting Kiyosaki's well-educated poor dad, his biological father, a school superintendent, with an unnamed rich dad, the shrewd businessman who taught him the art of leveraging money. Thanks to Amway's global network, the book spread like wildfire through seminars and distributor meetings. Word of mouth turned it into a bestseller, and suddenly Kiyosaki was the rock star of personal finance. He preached that schools train you to be an employee, that your mortgage is a liability dressed as an asset, and that the rich get richer by borrowing other people's money. Those radical ideas struck a chord in a world where college debt was soaring, and they would become the bedrock of his empire. But turning bestseller status into true riches required a new set of tactics. From wallets to stadium tours, passive royalties weren't enough. Kiyosaki realized the real money lay in live events, 3-day seminars promising transformational breakthroughs. He launched Rich Dad Education, charging newcomers anywhere from $995 to $15,000 for workshops billed as gateways to financial freedom. These events combined high-energy sales pitches, celebrity testimonials, and urgent calls to action. Seats are limited. Lock in your spot now. This is your last chance to break free. Behind the scenes, tactics borrowed from multi-level marketing kept registrants hooked. Attendees were grouped into accountability pods, incentivized to recruit friends for deep discounts. Organizers deployed scarcity triggers, limited VIP passes, after-party meet and greets with Kiyosaki himself to drive impulse buys. As legions of hopefuls queued to hand over credit card numbers, the seminars morphed into some of the highest-grossing ticket machines in the personal finance world. Journalists who infiltrated these events described cult-like devotion and emotional manipulation, where speakers spoke of unlocking hidden mindsets rather than concrete strategies. Many left feeling euphoric. "I've never seen finances this way." But within months, frustration set in as promised one-on-one coaching proved impossible at scale. Yet Kiyosaki's team did what any savvy marketer would: promised a new, upgraded seminar, sparking fresh rounds of purchases. Just as his seminar streak seemed unstoppable, reality began to catch up. When the guru goes broke. In 2012, the shockwaves hit. Rich Global LLC, the parent company for Kiyosaki's seminar business, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Across the U.S., class action lawsuits emerged, accusing the company of deceptive advertising and refusing refund requests. One plaintiff's legal filings alleged, "We were sold a dream that never materialized. No follow-up support, no actionable roadmaps, only upsells for the next event." Court documents revealed more than $50 million in liabilities, from venue contracts to unpaid speaker fees. For a man who preached debt as a growth tool, this was a stark contradiction. The empire built on borrowed capital was buckling under its own weight. Investors and distributors who had mortgaged homes to attend seminars found themselves on the hook, forced into foreclosure or bankruptcy themselves. In interviews, Kiyosaki downplayed the fallout, claiming bankruptcy was just another strategic move to reorganize and come back stronger. But for many followers whose life savings vanished, the fallout was anything but strategic. Their stories ranged from single parents losing rental properties to retirees who hoped to supplement pensions now staring at empty bank accounts. Despite the uproar, Kiyosaki's brand recovered quickly, thanks in part to relentless rebranding and a fresh wave of social media savvy. If bankruptcies and lawsuits weren't enough of a warning, what came next was even more eye-opening: debt as a badge of honor. Fast forward to January 2024, when Kiyosaki took to social media with a bombshell: $1.2 billion in personal debt.
$1.2 billion in debt.
In his framing, this wasn't a liability. It was the pinnacle of financial engineering. Mortgages on rental properties, margin loans on stocks, lines of credit for business acquisitions. Each instrument, he claimed, magnified his returns. "Don't fear debt," he urged. "Use it as your slingshot." Followers cheered. If Kiyosaki could carry that much leverage and still thrive, they reasoned, why not double down on mortgages and credit cards? But critics sounded the alarm. Leverage multiplies losses as quickly as gains. A 20% market drop on a heavily mortgaged property can wipe out years of equity. Financial advisors pointed to the 2008 crisis, when many speculators found themselves underwater, unable to meet margin calls or refinance loans. Meanwhile, Kiyosaki's own positions were opaque. Public records showed loans secured by properties whose values peaked years ago. Margin statements, never fully disclosed, likely included high-risk instruments. When markets turned choppy in mid-2024, whispers circulated that he scrambled to liquidate assets, triggering margin calls that further eroded his net worth. Yet his social feeds remained triumphant. "Debt is power," he posted, while quietly shuttering certain real estate ventures. So when even Kiyosaki's leverage story starts to unravel, you have to ask, at what cost? The price of simplistic advice. At its core, Kiyosaki's playbook boils down to 3 pillars. 1. Skip school. 2. Load up on debt. And 3. Chase passive income. In soundbite form, these tips can feel liberating. Don't be a rat in the corporate race. Let other people pay for your assets. Focus on building automated cash flow machines. Yet real wealth isn't built on one-size-fits-all slogans. Take the debt advice. Buying rental properties can generate steady income until vacancies spike, maintenance costs surge, or interest rates hike suddenly. Many followers who borrowed heavily before 2008 ended up facing foreclosures and ruined credit. Likewise, passive income often requires hands-on management, vetting tenants, handling repairs at 2 a.m., dealing with evictions. Education advice falls short too. Kiyosaki's message that college is a trap ignores evolving job markets where specialized degrees still command premium salaries. Programmers, engineers, healthcare professionals. Many professions remain inaccessible without formal training. Listeners who shunned college on his urging sometimes found themselves underqualified for stable, well-paying roles. Ultimately, the seductive simplicity of his framework glosses over nuance. Timing market cycles, personal risk tolerance, tax law complexities, and the day-to-day slog of running leveraged businesses. For every success story highlighted in glossy slides, there are countless untold failures. Families evicted after balloon payments, former attendees still fighting collection agencies years later. After decades of sensational slogans, the cracks in Kiyosaki's teachings are impossible to ignore. The man behind the myth. Perhaps the most jarring revelation is that Rich Dad himself likely never existed. Investigations by journalists at major outlets turned up 0 verifiable records. No name, no background, no trace of a wealthy Hawaiian entrepreneur who mentored Kiyosaki. Instead, evidence suggests Rich Dad was a composite character, a narrative device to dramatize basic money rules. Then there was Sharon Lechter, co-author of the original Rich Dad, Poor Dad. In 2007, she sued Kiyosaki and his companies for alleged misappropriation of royalties and trademark infringements. The lawsuit, settled out of court in 2008 under confidentiality terms, highlighted a pattern. When partnerships threatened to dilute his brand, Kiyosaki cut ties quietly and kept the narrative rolling. Beyond Lechter, former distributors have shared tales of being locked into non-compete agreements, pressured to buy more books and courses, and ostracized for asking too many questions. Emails leaked in 2010 revealed internal memos encouraging sales teams to push the fear of missing out rather than deliver substantive financial coaching. Every pivot into cryptocurrency, precious metals, network marketing followed market hype rather than disciplined research. Kiyosaki's mastery lies in packaging half-truths as revelations and harnessing emotional triggers: fear of obscurity, envy of the wealthy, dread of retirement poverty. But when you strip away the mythos, what remains is a marketing juggernaut that benefits far more from book sales and seminar tickets than from proven investment returns. If the man and his myth are inseparable, how should we separate fact from fiction, beyond the hype? Robert Kiyosaki's story is a powerful case study in modern marketing: how to craft an emotional narrative, exploit scarcity, and build a loyal following without delivering consistent, customized results. His catchy catchphrases and bold promises ignited financial awakenings for some, but they also set countless others on paths to debt spirals and broken dreams. So what's the real takeaway? True financial empowerment demands more than catchy slogans. It requires personalized planning, aligned strategies with your goals, risk tolerance, and life stage. Educated decisions. Seek professionals who disclose assumptions, stress test plans against downturns, and avoid one-size-fits-all formulas. Measured leverage. Use debt judiciously. Never so much that a single market shift can upend your life. Lifelong learning. Combine formal education, practical experience, and continual skills upgrades rather than choosing between extremes. Think twice when a guru declares debt risk-free or education a booby trap. Real wealth grows steadily, often in the quiet work of diversification, frugal living, and incremental improvements. If something sounds too simple for too many people, dig deeper, because the most profound wisdom rarely fits on a t-shirt. And as Kiyosaki's saga shows, the glossiest narratives can mask the most dangerous pitfalls.